Hey everybody, welcome to this special edition of Jeunesse Live. I'm your host, Kasaya J, and today we are talking all things envy. We're going to talk about the beauty with benefits, the colors, and your most pressing FAQs. We're also going to show you some tools that are available to help you sell this amazing product. Many of you know that we introduced Envy at Lead in Las Vegas, and of course, it is coming soon to a market near you. Today, it's an honor to have a guest with me. I am delighted to invite our celebrity makeup artist, Yolanda Halston. Hi, Yolanda.
Hi, Kasaya.
So good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
So we have rave reviews on this product. I love this product. I wear it every day. It has totally changed the way that my skin looks and feels. I love it, but we've got lots of questions that are coming in. So thank you for taking time out of your weekend to answer some of the questions. The biggest thing people are asking right now is that they want to get their hands on this product, but they need to know how to pick the right color. What advice do you have?
Well, we do have a really great tool that you can use. It's like an auto matching shade where you can go into the website and plug in your shade that you're already wearing. And if we have it in our database already, then it will automatically tell you which Envy shade to use. But if that shade is not found for some reason, maybe it's something really new or something that isn't commonly found, then we will actually get an email immediately and we'll go out and find that shade for you and send you back an email that tells you what it is. That's the first way. But just if you have a pen and a piece of paper and you want to write this down, this is the easiest way, and it's the way I train everyone. And it's a celebrity comparison. So if you are Envy shade Warm 1, W1, you're going to use, you're going to compare that if you are like Kate Blanchett, very pale, ivory with a little bit of a warm undertone. If you want to use the N2, like would be Nicole Kidman, that is a very hard shade to find, and you know that shade if you are that shade. It's very hard because those shades tend to be a little too pink, and this is very neutral. So N2 is a very neutral shade. It's also going to be our most popular selling shade in Korea because it gives you sort of that light, bright, beautiful look. Then Warm 3 would be like Reese Witherspoon. Still light, but warm with a yellow undertone, but not pale. Then you've got N4, which
That's my color.
Yep, and mine too, and Wendy Lewis actually. That, if in doubt, if you are a medium skin tone and you don't know which one to pick N4. You cannot go wrong with Cool Buff. It matches, and you know the reason why these shades are so forgiving is that there's really only 8% pigment in that entire bottle. So when you mist it on your skin, it allows your own skin tone to come through as well. So that's N stands for neutral, and the 4 and the 5 are both medium. So you're either neutral or warm. I can use that N4 also on Rachel Hunter and on Penelope Cruz, believe it or not. It's just the most forgiving shade, and it allows your skin tone to come through. The Warm 5 would be like a Cameron Diaz, also maybe a Cindy Crawford, that warm golden skin tone that's medium, leaning a little bit to a yellow base. N6 is definitely Jennifer Lopez. If you've got that Latin, beautiful skin, it's smooth, it's neutral, and it's has a little bit more color, to it. That is a perfect shade for you.
Can I just say here, Yolanda, that I occasionally spray tan because I'm rather light, so I like to spray tan, and when I do, my go-to is the N4. I do the Cool Buff, but I also keep the N6, that Cool Sand, handy because it looks so pretty when you have like a golden glow. So there's also nothing wrong with mixing some of the shades if you have different ones, or if you were to get a kit that had multiple colors in it. There's nothing wrong with mixing the shades.
I totally agree. I actually do that every single day. I use N4 as my shade, but I also use the N6 around the outside of my face because I get color on my neck and shoulders. Living in Malibu, of course, I get a little bit of suntan, and it actually brings that color up to my face so that I don't have this moon floating over my shoulders, which is a good little makeup artist tip. Warm 7, the W7 Warm Honey shade is like Beyonce. It's that golden caramel color. It's what you want to use on your legs and body if you are self-tanning. You know how sometimes the self-tanner can kind of wear off on your knees and on your ankles, and it kind of starts coming off unevenly. You can touch up with that, or you can just actually give yourself a tan with that color. In 8, the Cool Toffee, if you were matching it to someone, I would say Halle Berry, but I use that shade on men to give them that, you know, golf course, you know, color on their face. It's the N shades are the most natural shades on men because there's less white in them, so they actually are not as opaque. And you can layer them and get the opaque coverage that you want, but they tend to look more natural on men. The W9, the Cool Cocoa, that would be like Oprah Winfrey. It is a beautiful, beautiful shade. I actually, you know, have worked with a lot of women with color. I have makeup artist friends who do all the celebrities that are, you know, darker in the darker skin tones, and these shades are matched on real skin, so you won't get that ashy, you know, makeup-y look that a lot of the darker shades give you. So I hope that helps with celebrity comparisons, because I think most people can say, oh yeah, I'm a Jennifer Aniston. Well, then you're an N4.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that comparison. And I just want to take our viewers over to our website. If you go to JeunesseGlobal.com, visit the replicated website of the person that sent you the information, you can find here lots of answers to your questions. So you want to go to products, and it will obviously pop up Envy. There's a video on here for you to get more information. You can watch that. Lots of before and afters you can take a look at. Knowledge about the product, it's beauty with benefits, how to apply the product, which Yolanda and I are going to touch on here in just a minute. And then what I wanted to show you though is that we do have an online tool that allows you to pop in the color. It's right here. It's our Easy Match color picker. And what you can do is exactly what Yolanda just said. You can select your manufacturer, the brand, and the shade that you currently use, and it will tell you what color you should purchase of Envy. So I love that tool. It's super, super helpful, really easy to use, and it's available to you at JeunesseGlobal.com when you look at the Envy product. Additionally, we also have another tool. This is our shade matching guide. So I'm going to hold this up for you guys. And I love, love, love this tool because it's got 3 sheets, and these are transparent. So of course, if you hold these up to your skin tone, you can see there's light, there's medium, and there's dark. So I would say I'm probably light skinned. So you can just put this up here. Maybe I'll go to the medium profile and you can put that up. I know there's a little bit of a glare from the light coming in, but you can just hold that up. And Yolanda always says, you know, hold it up on your wrist too. That will give you an accurate idea of what color you would be. So Yolanda, I just want to turn it over to you to give us a little bit more information if people are using this tool.
Yes, actually, that tool is amazing because it helps you to pick not only your shade, but also your tone, and the difference between a neutral and a warm. When I use it, I generally hold it here, and then on the chin, and then I also do on the collarbone as well, and on the inside of the arm. So you're gonna, if you tend to go pick lighter, inside of the arm is the way to go. If you're tanner on your body, then putting it on your collarbone is the way to go, because you want to be able to bring that color up to your face so your face isn't paler than your body is. It's really true. So use that tool because it's a good one.
These tools are so helpful, and for Jeunesse distributors, you can get this tool available in your back office. I highly, highly recommend it. It's just so simple and easy to use. It's a little compact. You can take it with you. Excellent, excellent tool. So now we've just talked about colors. So you should have a better understanding of what each color can compare to. You know that there's a tool online where you can pop in what foundation that you're using and the color, the brand, and it will tell you what color to pick. I did this with the foundation that I was using prior, and it told me exactly N4 is what I should get, which I know is my color. So it works super well. And then these are really fun if you're going to have like a home party or invite your girlfriends over to help pick a color really quickly. But the next question that I have for you, Yolanda, is a lot of people are asking, look, it sounds great to spray something on my face, but what are some other ways that you could apply this product?
Absolutely. You know, makeup is, it's unique to everybody's routine. I actually designed it to be sprayed directly onto the skin to give an airbrush effect. But the great thing about the product being in a bottle that is sealed is that it keeps it fresh. It keeps it fresh. Nothing can get in the can and nothing can evaporate either. So you get literally all those benefits, the APT 200, the vitamins and botanicals that are volatile organic compounds, they evaporate. And so if you don't have a bottle that's sealed, by the end of the month, you have nothing left that's good for your skin. So you still get the benefit of actually, you know, having an airbrush bottle, even if you don't want to spray it directly on your skin. So one thing that you can do is you can actually, I'm gonna use the foundation. You always want to shake the can, because that actually, if you think about what's in there, there's your water and your pigments and all of your vitamins and botanicals. You want to combine them. So then you can actually spray it directly onto your sponge like this and apply it. And I'll do that. You actually can apply it just like this. And when you apply it with a sponge, you're going to get a more opaque finish. Can you see the difference between the two? You actually lay down more pigment because the sponge absorbs the water. So when you lay it down, you actually get a more opaque coverage. You can blend that out, but you can see the difference. Also, you can spray it into the palm of your hand like that. That's what it should look like. And then you can apply it just with your fingers. I generally use my fingers because I think it gives a more natural looking coverage, and it just melts right into the skin.
I do that a lot just because I feel like if I spray it onto my hand and use my fingers, I'm not losing so much of the product in the sponge if I'm using like
exactly.
Yeah. So it really does look super good. So you don't have to use a concealer if you want a little bit of extra product. And then you can also sweep your face. Like sometimes I just want one sweep just to maybe cover up my freckles and give myself a little bit more of an even skin tone. And then sometimes I do 3 if I know I'm going to be on camera, if I'm going somewhere and I want my makeup to last. So you can also build on top of it, which is fantastic.
Exactly. You can also use a foundation brush. Mm-hmm. So you can dip the brush into the product like this and apply, or you can dot it onto the skin like this and then blend it out with the brush. So, you know, there's really no rules with makeup. It's really, you know, how does this fit into your routine? How does this work best on your skin? You're still going to get all the benefit of having that product locked into the bottle. But, you know, if you want the airbrush effect, you missed it. If you want a more opaque coverage right out of the hat, then you use your sponge or use your brush.
So Yolanda, I love that there's other ways that you can apply this product. You can use the brush, like you said, you can use a sponge, you can spray it on the inside of the palm of your hand and apply it. You don't have to spray it directly onto the skin, although I like the way it looks when it's sprayed directly. But there are a variety of ways, no rules, right? You're not going to mess it up. Just, you know, experiment, figure out what works best for you. If you don't like spraying it, you don't have to. But there is something that I want to talk about. So, you know, you get the puffs that come in the kit. So I just want to pull these out and show them to everybody. So I have some questions from our audience today regarding the little puffs. One of the questions is, why are they shaped like this? What do you need them for? And do you have to use them?
Yes, I actually, so this is a typical cosmetic puff. They look like this. Sometimes they're the size of a golf ball and sometimes they're the size of a donut. I actually designed the product to be used with a puff because of the little, you know, it's cotton, so it's got those little fingers. So when you press it, you pick up the moisture. And then when you buff it, you actually pick up any particles of product that are on the surface of the skin. But I designed this shape because I found that when I was pressing, I couldn't get into all those little small areas. So I designed a little pie shape because then you could actually get in and press and buff every single area. And so it's a more usable tool to me than this large, you know, donut shaped one.
Yeah, and it feels so good. I love how you just press that like around the eye, because I know I stopped using a shadow primer because I don't feel like I need to anymore. Can you explain to the audience a little bit about how this primes?
Absolutely. So when you actually use a primer, the point typically is to fill the fine lines and pores and to create a smooth surface. With our primer, when you mist the face, it's very much like misting your face with water. So when you spray it, and I'll go ahead and do this one. So you want to be just where it feels comfortable at a 90-degree angle with your arm. So it's about 8 inches. And if you were misting your face with water, you wouldn't spray here because then you would get wet. You wouldn't spray way back here because then you're going to lose a lot of product. So just right where it feels comfortable, one quick mist. And in 2 seconds, I literally just primed everything. My lashes, my lids, my lips, my cheeks, all of my skin, everything is primed and ready. And if you have very oily skin, I would actually use the puff in between the primer and the foundation and just press it in and pick up all the extra moisture. When I use a primer first, I actually use less foundation than I would normally. It actually it diffuses the light. It sort of reflects away the imperfections. It fills the fine lines and pores, and it makes this skin here feel the same as this skin here, which is great. I love the primer because it gives me that extra layer in between my my serum and my moisturizer as another additional layer. And as Dr. Newman and we have spoken about, when you put the serum on your skin, it goes in and it goes in deep. Mm-hmm. And it starts to benefit in the under layers. Then you put your moisturizer on. That's moisturizing the surface of the skin and also penetrates. Now when you use your primer, that also, because it does have the APT 200 and all the hydrating anti-aging ingredients in it, it's just another layer of protection between you and the environment.
I want to talk more about product. I'm super excited to bring that up. There's a couple of other things I want to cover. I know we just talked about the puff, so thank you for explaining that. I also want to talk really quickly about your hair and the band that we've gotten with Envy. Yes. Now, I want to make sure that the audience knows if they have the band, which I have one right here. This is used, so you can actually see where like I've got some makeup spray on it. But so obviously this has a Velcro thing, and you just literally like tuck it under your hair and then put it on and slide it back like a headband. I always do mine, you know, just back so that I don't really have a line and I don't get anything in my hair. My hair is obviously very light. I did get makeup in my hair one time and I was like, oh, I should wear a headband. So if you have light hair, just know you probably want to put a towel over your head or use the headband. But Yolanda, I'd love for you just to share with us a little about your suggestions for if you are spraying, just how to cover up.
Absolutely. You know, when you spray your face the first few times, it's kind of a learning curve, obviously. After you've done it a few times, you can feel right where it's going. So if you're a medium skin tone like me with medium shade hair, I don't have to be as careful as someone like you, Kasaya, because you do have some tan and your hair is light. It's also the same for someone who has very dark hair and very light skin. You want to pull your hair back away from your face, and I actually would just throw my hair up in a towel because it's fast and easy. Or you can use a bandana or a headscarf and wrap around, or you can use the headband, which is great because these, you can just put the Velcro together and throw them in with your towels and they come out beautiful. But you just want to pull your hair back away from your face because obviously, you know, you don't want to get makeup in your hair. If you do, you know, most of the time you could take your puff and just wipe it after it's had a few seconds to dry and wipe the dust out. But if you're going darker, like with you, Kasaya, that would be more difficult to get it out than it would be if it was somebody that had dark hair and light. When you're demonstrating, though, you know, a lot of times people come to a party or you're out in the public and their hair is already done, in which case, rather than using the headband, I would just pull the hair away from the face and only do one side. And I know that this has come up too about eyelashes. A lot of people have the lash extensions. A lot of people wear lashes, or they already have their mascara on, and we're not going to replace that mascara. So we want to just make sure that we cover that up. And what I do is I just take the hair and I pull it back. And with my thumb, I'll cover their earring if they have a little earring in. And then I just pull the lashes up with my hand, and I just mist one space at a time. And that way, you're not going to get their lashes cloudy, because that will happen, obviously, if you're spraying a medium shade on someone that has black mascara or lash extensions on.
Exactly. And I love what you said too when you were talking about the headband. So great tip there on eyelashes, because I know a lot of people are asking about that, and it does matter. But with the puffs, those can be washed also. Yes. So can the headbands. And like you said, a towel works perfectly fine. Sometimes if I don't have a headband, I'll take my hand towel and I will literally put it over my head and tuck my hair back, or, you know, tuck it into my bra or whatever when I'm getting ready. So there are lots of ways that you can cover up and not get that into your hair. And then of course, like we talked about with the sponges, the puff that we've supplied in the packages is fantastic. But any suggestions for alternatives to that, Yolanda?
You know, it really depends on what your routine is. A lot of people are using makeup sponges because they're more disposable, especially if they're doing lots of demonstrations. The thing is that you want to make sure that when you purchase a makeup sponge that you don't buy latex sponges. They tend to come in the bigger packages, but there is a possibility that people could be allergic to latex. It's just a way to be a little bit more careful. Buy non-latex sponges. They're great because they're really inexpensive and then they're disposable. You just throw them away between each use. Your puffs, if you're buying the kits, they're gonna start to multiply like bunnies. You do get a bunch of them over time, and they are machine washable, which is amazing. Like I said, I really like the puff, especially when I'm doing body or if I'm going in a darker color, because they do pick up the excess. You can see I get a little bit of transfer, and if it's on the puff, then it's not coming off on my shirt.
Yep.
So if you don't have a puff, you can also use cotton pads. You can even use a tissue, just a Kleenex actually, to blot, press, and then buff. That works well as well.
Amazing. I love that. I just learned a lot from you. I did not realize that. So that's good to know, have alternatives to the puff. And another question that just came in, everyone wants to know about the name of this product. So help us understand what the term BB Perfecting Mist Foundation means.
Well, the definition of BB is a lot of products all combined into one to make your life easier. And this is a true BB. You can use your foundation as your concealer, as your foundation. It does have moisturizer in it. It is, it has all the anti-aging vitamins, botanicals, and it has the APT 200, which is obviously long-term benefit, beauty with benefits. And so BB came from that, really. I mean, it works on every skin type, and it works with everybody's skin tones. So it really is one of those, kind of all-in-one type of products.
It is. And it's the good for you kind also. But another question that keeps coming up is about coverage. I know you talked about using it as a concealer, but one of our guests today wants to know if it can cover tattoos.
Absolutely. I actually have some tips about that. We're going to be doing some tutorial videos, but in the meantime, you basically want to think about this product in a layering application, because kind of like polishing your fingernails, if you try and do one thick layer, it takes too long to dry, and so you'll mess it up for sure. You'll get transfer onto your clothes, and you don't want that. So you want to do it in layers. So your first mist is like the coverage that you would get from a tinted moisturizer or a BB type of product. When you mist your face again, so you wait a few seconds, you can press in between if you want. Wait a few seconds and then layer another mist. That would be the application you would get from a liquid foundation. And then if you want more coverage, then you would layer it a third time, and that gives you a more opaque layer like you would get from the powder foundations or the oil base that comes in the pot where you can get a really good coverage. So when you layer it like that, you control the coverage. So some days I'll just do one quick mist. Other days I'll feel like my freckles are a little bit darker and I'll just mist extra on my cheeks. So then if you think about it the same way with covering a tattoo, you're gonna layer it. So one quick mist with the shade that matches the skin tone. And a really good tip about this is to hit it with a blow dryer, because that actually, it just bonds that product to the skin. It makes all the liquid evaporate, so all the water evaporates out quickly. Then do another mist over the top of that. Hit it with the blow dryer again, let that dry down. And by 3 mists, you should have your coverage of your tattoos. Sometimes with the darker inks, with the blacks and the blues, you can play with color. So for instance, if my skin is an N4, I would mist with my N4. Then if I have really dark, I could go back in with a 3. So then you're gonna basically use your lighter shade to get a more opaque coverage. Hit that with your blow dryer and then go back over it with a darker shade, like an N6 or an N8. That would bring the color back up. Then you're correcting with color, and that's what a makeup artist would do, and you're using less product to get a better coverage. So if you're really serious about covering the tattoo, then play with the shades a little bit and get the right coverage for you.
I love that tip of using the blow dryer to dry before you put on another spray. I think that's fantastic. Excellent advice there. And I guess this would be a really good time to ask another question that comes up quite often is people want to know, how long does this last? How many sprays are in a can? That's a really valid question, especially as you mentioned earlier that, you know, your first few bottles you may go through more quickly just from not being used to this type of application.
Absolutely. So every single one of these cans has 300 of these 1-second mists. So if you're using it as a concealer and you're spraying your face one time, your can's gonna last you a good 45 days, maybe a little bit longer. But if you're layering it and you're using it for a more opaque coverage, or if you decide to use it on your legs, your can isn't gonna last as long. And so, you know, how my can will last is going to be a little bit different than yours because all of our applications are different, but you should get at least 300 of these little 1-second mists. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea.
Perfect. And I guess the next question that would be valid, people are asking, how do I take it off? How do we get the product off?
Well, that's easy. You have to use a cleanser. I obviously use our Luminesse cleanser. It's very gentle to the skin. Everyone can use this, but it will definitely remove the product. I actually also, I know you like to use the Clarisonic. I like to use a washcloth. And that just actually picks up, gives me a little bit of exfoliation, but you know, if you like your skin really clean, using the Clarisonic type of cleansing tool with the Luminesse cleanser is a wonderful way to do it.
Yeah, the Luminesse is one of my all-time favorite products that we have. It is seriously an amazing, amazing cleanser. So I go through this stuff like crazy. I love it, but I do use a Clarisonic. Sometimes I will use a washcloth on my skin. It just depends. I like a really nice, clean skin because I think obviously the makeup sits nicer on it. And I also wanted to just talk really quickly too about utilizing all of our skincare, the rest of the Luminesse line with this product. I know a lot of people are having parties, and that's a great place to use our mask. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on doing a mask before applying the product.
Oh, of course. You know, I'm a big fan of the skin and the skin looking natural and looking, you know, beautiful and healthy. And the best way to do that is to prepare it with the proper skincare. And if you have dry skin or you have dehydrated skin and you put makeup over the top of that, it's going to look like makeup on dehydrated skin. So you always want to prep it with the right skincare. I love the mask. The cleansing, the cleanser is wonderful because it's gentle. It can be used on all skin types. And then actually preparing the skin with the right moisturizer. I always hear from people like, well, what if I have oily skin? Will this work on me? What if I have dry skin? Will this work on me? Well, the foundation and the primer and the bronzer were designed to work on all skin types, and you want to prepare your skin with the right moisturizer. So if you have just normal or normal combination skin, I use the SPF 30 daytime moisture every day over the top of my serum. So after you've cleansed, you want to put the serum on and then let it dry. Give it a chance to actually absorb into the skin. It takes a few minutes. I usually say it takes about as long as it, to brush your teeth. What is that, 2 or 3 minutes that we're supposed to do that? And so let that absorb into the skin, then apply your moisturizer. I use the SPF during the day. And if you have very dry skin, go ahead and go for that nighttime moisturizer. That stuff is amazing. It makes my skin feel really hydrated. And you can, if you have dry skin, you can use that. Just give it time to soak in. One of the things about moisturizing and then applying your makeup is that if you don't let the moisturizer soak in all the way before you apply it, then your foundation's going to float. And then it's going to be more easily to transfer.
Yeah.
So if you let that moisturizer go all the way in, then you apply your primer and your foundation, then it will bond to the skin and it will stay on and it will last you all day and it won't come off until you take it off again at night with your cleanser.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great point too. I noticed that sometimes, like if I don't let my moisturizer dry or whatever, it's more likely to rub on my skin. But again, the non-transfer part of this makeup is really fabulous because if you do apply it correctly, can you just share with us, what do we always say? It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant. Is that the right terminology?
Well, nothing is waterproof. I would say that, water resistant is the right thing to say, but I will say that I've had it on photo shoots in extreme humidity, in and out of the ocean, and it stays put. It stays on. Actually, water almost bonds it to the skin even better. And when I have a bride that I'm doing that's wearing beautiful white wedding gown, or that at the reception the groom's going to take off his jacket with his white shirt and he's going to have his arms around his bride, you don't want makeup coming off on that. And so when I'm doing body makeup and face makeup, if I have access to a shower, I'll just put it on, buff it, and then have them rinse off in the shower if you want to make it, really resistant of transfer. So that's water resistant is, like if you want to test it and it's a really good way to show how water resistant in parties, have a bowl of water, put it on the backs of people's hands, press it with the puff and buff it, and then have them dip their hands in water and you'll just see how it just literally beads up and runs right off. And then there's no film in the water. It's a great way to demonstrate.
Very interesting. I've never heard of that before, but that's really an interesting thing to do, just to test. I'm going to do that myself actually this afternoon. I want to see. So I love that. The other thing I wanted to ask you, I know this is a question that comes up a lot. It's about animal testing. I know a lot of people are concerned about that. Can you just tell us a little bit about how we have manufactured the product?
Well, that was a commitment to me and also to Jeunesse. Obviously, we want our products to work and to have their function, but not to go test it on an animal. Obviously, when we do a sunscreen test, for instance, we use real people, and we outsource a company that's certified to do that, and they have a person that goes out and sits on the curb and they do a little grid on their back. So we don't test on animals, we test on real people. And it was really important to me and also to Jeunesse to not do that.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. So happy to hear that. We have some questions coming in, so I love this part of the show. Firstly, I want to say thank you to our viewers who are watching live and engaging. We hope that this information is very helpful to you. If you do have questions, please leave them in the sidebar or in the comments below so that Yolanda and I can address them. If they don't get addressed on this show, we do want to know what questions you have about Envy so we can get them answered for you, and not just for you, but it benefits the whole. So I'm sure you're not the only one that has a question. No question is dumb. No question is, off limits. So just put your questions out there and we'll do our best to get them answered for you. This question comes from Ruth. So Ruth, I want to say hello to you. Thanks for tuning in today. She says, why is it recommended for the bronzer to be applied in a circle versus the zigzag for the primer and the foundation? It's a great question.
Oh, that's a great question. Like we were saying before, everybody has a different application. When you say apply it in a circle, this is the bronzer. Obviously, if you spray it in a zigzag down the center of your face, you're gonna get your nose, and there is a pearl in this, and it will make your nose shiny. And so I actually like my face to have a little glow. So I actually do a zigzag, but when I'm doing it for camera, or if I'm doing it on a more mature client and I don't want to get a lot of shine through the center, I go across and down and around. So it's basically like circling your face. You definitely want to have your hair pulled back for that application. You definitely want to have your hairline covered for that, because when you're spraying it like this, you actually are going to get some into your hair if you don't have your hair protected. So that's why it's just about avoiding your nose. You can also take a big fluffy brush and spray the bronzer directly onto the brush like this and apply it this way. And that way you're getting that highlight and contour, but using a brush and not, if you don't have a headband to pull your hair back, you're still getting the application, but you're not actually gonna get it in your hair. So that's
you're spraying that directly onto the brush and then putting it on the skin. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I'm going to try that sometime too, because I do notice that when I spray the bronzer, which I love skin that glows. To me, it's so youthful and it just looks beautiful and it gives you that great contour and highlight. I think it's perfect. But I do find that with my hair being as light as it is, sometimes I go, whoa, like I should have put a towel over or whatever. So I like the idea of being able to put it on a brush. Perfect. I have another question that just came in. Thank you for watching, Malcolm. It's always good to see you. He wants to just get a little bit more clarity on lash extensions or fake lashes.
Yes.
Just to confirm, they do have to be completely covered, or you should have an alternative way to apply the foundation. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely, because you're spraying something light over the top of something that's dark. It will coat the lashes. And, you know, obviously we don't have mascara to reapply or to go over, and especially with lash extensions, most of the time people don't want to put mascara. They have lash extensions so they don't have to wear it. So yes, if you're doing a demo, then you want to cover the lashes either with your fingers, or you can even use a tissue. I'm hearing a lot of people out there are buying those little goggles from, you know, from tanning beds, where you can just have the little strap that goes around and you can still see through and spray your face. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can also, you know, like you were just saying, use an alternative way. If you have lash extensions, then spray it on a brush or a sponge, or apply it with your finger and then blend it out. You certainly can do that as well.
I like that idea. I would never have thought about using tanning goggles, but I could totally see where that would be a really fantastic solution. And then of course, that's why you have your puff. That's why, you know, you can get a sponge or whatever you need to use to just, if you need to cover that area, then just, you know, fix around it and you're going to be good to go. But yeah, I mean, for lash extensions, I think that's super important that people know, you know, to cover them up. You definitely don't want to get it in there. So thank you everyone for watching. Great questions. I love those coming in. And again, it's not too late to submit your questions. You can leave them in the comments or leave them on the sidebar. If you're watching from hangouts.jeunessglobal.com, leave them in the comment section. And if you're watching the Facebook Live, Yolanda and I will go through and look at your comments. We thank you for watching and hope this is really helpful for you. There was a couple of additional things that I wanted to just tell you. In your packages, you will get the directions. The directions are also available on the website, like I showed you earlier, available at jeunessglobal.com. If you type Envy, this is a step-by-step directions on how to actually apply this product. Yolanda, that reminds me, another question that I get all the time is people want to know, do they have to use all three? We put the products together a lot. We talk about using the right skincare. We want them to use the Luminous line, and we definitely know that we need to prime our skin. Then we want to put the foundation. The bronzer gives you that great glow, but I just want to clarify, do they need to use all three?
No, actually, you don't need to use all three. It really depends on your routine and your skin type. Like I said, I always use the primer because I use less foundation. So, you know, if you only want to just use the foundation, you still get a smoothing effect with the foundation, but the primer just prepares the skin and it actually makes your foundation last longer. I use less, and now I'm using 2 cans, one mist here, one mist here, versus doing double mists of the foundation. So as far as the bronzer goes, that is the product that I never leave the house without having on my skin. It gives my skin that glow that I had when I was in my 20s. And now that I'm in my 40s, it just helps me duplicate that healthy sun-kissed glow. But if you don't like the pearl from the bronzer, you can actually use a darker shade of foundation as your bronzer. So if you're a 4 or a 6, you could use an 8 to give yourself that extra color, and it doesn't have the pearl in it. So like we said earlier, there's no rules when you're talking about makeup. You certainly can play with them and get the desired effects that you want.
Absolutely. And you've given me so much clarity on here. I love all the alternatives. I like understanding how to use the product better. And before we close the show today, I want to talk a little bit more about the tools. So just so you guys know, the FAQs are being updated. Those should be available on the website in the very, very near future. So look for those. Obviously, we covered a lot of your questions on today's show. So hopefully this was really helpful for you. We also have our mailer or our brochure. You can get this available in your back office. And I love this. This is a great way to introduce the beauty with benefits and some of the information about Envy in this gorgeous mailer that you can send out. It has all the shades. This is really just a great resource even for you. It's easy to apply it, how to apply it, the APT 200, make yourself photo ready. So everything is available inside of this mailer. This will be available inside of your back office. Again, you've got your shade matching guide that I talked about here with the transparent. These are fantastic for home parties if you're going to have people over to try Envy. Along with that, online, you've got your online tool where I showed you earlier exactly how to get there, where they can pop in the foundation that you're currently using. It's going to give you the exact color that you need. Then, of course, there are videos available there on the Jeunesse Global website. Check the replicated website of the person that gave you the information, or make sure you're sending out your replicated website when you're sharing Envy with your prospects or people that you know might want to try this incredible product. And then, of course, those videos are also loaded inside of JMobile. Yolanda is going to be providing us with additional tutorial videos, which will just be short little bursts of information. Today was definitely more of like an FAQ, Q&A kind of session, but we'll be making sure that those get packaged for you accordingly. And I've got some exciting news. Many of you may know that Yolanda and I will be in Amsterdam in just 2 weeks. Can you believe that's coming right up? So at the regional convention for Europe, we'll be bringing Envy. So we're really excited to be sharing this with you, where you'll be able to get your hands on this incredible new product as we introduce it to Europe. And then later on in the year, it will be introduced into additional markets. So it's going to be a fun year for us to meet with all of you and share this incredible product. And of course, we love seeing how you're using this product. So make sure you use the hashtag #BeTheEnvy. So spell it out, Be the Envy. It's ENVY, Be the Envy. We want to see how you're applying it, what your fabulous looks are, whether they're daytime, nighttime, any tips that you have on using the product. We definitely want to for sure see that. And it really is an amazing product. I have to admit, at first I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. But now that I use the product, Yolanda, I love it. I tell everyone about it. I think it's absolutely outstanding. I'm proud that our company offers a cosmetic. I think it's incredible. We all want to look good and feel good. And this is just the final touch in helping us step out with confidence. And so it's fun to apply and learn more about. And if you have any final thoughts that you want to share with our audience, I think we covered so much. I know there's always a million things to cover. So anything that we might have missed or anything that you want to share with our audience before we close the show today?
Oh, well, you know, it's so much fun to be able to have a product that you can share and demonstrate that has that, you know, instant effect of you see the result right there in front of your eyes. And I always say that showing this product equals selling it, because once you get it on your skin, it's hard to not want to have it all the time and never run out. So it's one of those great products that, you know, once you use it, you'll never go back. And so share it with your friends and enjoy it, play with it and have fun.
Exactly. It is all about having a good time and looking and feeling good. And Yolanda, you are just such a gem. We are so lucky to have you as part of our Jeunesse family. And thank you for bringing your knowledge and your expertise and just your amazing personality and everything that you bring to the table. It's so nice to have a beauty expert like yourself to teach us all of your ways. These are so interesting and fascinating to me. So for those of you who are watching, I hope that you loved today's show. Make sure that you share this with people who have questions about Envy. Share it with your teams. And I'm very excited to be able to meet all of you in upcoming markets where we'll be launching Envy globally. And also, like I said, we want to see how you're using it. So use the hashtag #BeTheEnvy. And of course, leave your comments, put your questions. If you don't tell us, we won't know what you need help with. And we want to know because we want to answer those questions, not only for you, but for everyone in our Jeunesse family and for those our customers that are using Envy, of course. So Yolanda, I thank you so much for your time and for your expertise. To those of you who took time to watch the show with us live, I thank you so much. It's always great to have you here. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the next Jeunesse Live. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.